All right, welcome to episode 17 of Trout Talk here on News Talk Saga 960 AM with my compadres Brendan Lang, Zach Bodenstein. My name is Mike Karafalidis. Guys, well, Steelheads, a couple games last weekend. Let's start off with that, I guess, against the Barrie Colts on Friday night and Saturday against the Owen Sound Attack. Let's start off with Friday, I guess, against the Barrie Colts, guys. Who wants to chime in first? Thoughts on that?
Go ahead, Zach.
They got goalied again, right? Sam Hillebrand again. It was almost the same script, just a lot of Mississauga pressure, good goaltending on the other side, the same guy. And then it was pretty much the same guys burning you, Bo Jelsma coming up big. Bo Akey got hurt. Obviously, we hope he's okay, but it was pretty much the same game script. Mississauga worked hard. They couldn't cash in. But how about those penalties? I think it was 9 minor penalties against the Mississauga Steelheads. Very ironically, they only scored once, but what I found so ironic was they scored shorthanded too, and only went 1 for 9 on the power play. So it was a weird game, very physical, which I like to see from the Steelheads, Brendan, because it means that, they're battling, they're sticking up for each other. We saw, I think, 3 fights, one of them on the first shift. But it did knock Angus McDonnell out for the majority of the first period. So obviously that's not ideal, but Porter Martone fought as well. We saw Mark Boudreau mix it up. The team has heart. We know that. They are young, but they are starting to really fight for one another. In the literal and figurative sense, they are fighting for one another. But again, it was just goaltending. Good news is, though, big response from Ryerson Leanders, guys, after the Michigan road trip. I thought Leanders was excellent. That goes for both games. But as for Barrie, I thought it was just, too many penalties. But I love the compete in terms of the fighting. And they had their opportunities. But again, it was Sam Hillebrand, who has Mississauga's number, we could say.
Yeah, that's right. I think also on the point of Ryerson Leanders, the first goal of the game too was maybe a little bit weak as well. He kind of backed into his own net and I think the puck went off his blocker. But then after that, just completely locked it down. And you really like to see that kind of be able to build the confidence back up, especially with Jack Ivankovic. He'll be back with the team this upcoming weekend, but he wasn't with the team. So Leanders was that guy and obviously kind of got back in there, made a few big saves. The confidence was back, and then he played well again the next day as well. So I think kind of the same thing that you just mentioned there with the game against Barrie. Yes, they got goalied, and Hillebrand seems to have the number of the Steelheads, but I still don't know if there were a ton of quality chances that Mississauga generated in that game. They did outshoot Barrie, if I'm not mistaken, but still not as many shots coming from those high volume areas that you probably usually see from the Steelheads team. And then when you play pretty much half the game shorthanded, it's going to be difficult games to win. But it's just, I feel like Mississauga, and we obviously talk about it all the time, being a young team, they still haven't been able to find that line of where they need to play. Like, you still need to play physically. You still need to be able to stand up for one another, as you said there, Zach. And you like that fight from them. But sometimes just going a little too far over that line. They just need to be able to find the balance a little bit better, and they lead the league in penalty minutes right now. So if they can kind of find that balance a little bit, there were a few penalties in there that just probably shouldn't have been taken. Mm-hmm. So you eliminate those, but also stay with the same fight, sticking up for your guys. I think the Steelers are going to be fine. And then, as you mentioned too, a huge response game the next day as well with Owen Sound. So tough game against Barrie there, but I think you like the response too that they had the next day.
Yeah, it was impressive. Impressive Ryerson Leanders was because, he let in, you let in sometimes goalies, let in soft goals, whatnot. He let in a soft goal, his first goal, right? Then after that, he really buckled down. I think that's what makes him really, really good is that, he was making save after save after save after that. Barrie had a lot of high quality chances. And the discipline, we talked about it wasn't too good on Friday night. Of course, I think it was at one point it was 9 penalties in a row, something like that, or 8 penalties, 7 penalties. I can't remember off by hand. But Saturday, how about the response on Saturday as well by Ryerson Leanders? 40 of 42 saves, and he was absolutely phenomenal on Saturday night. And the team really, really came together, and the discipline was good on Saturday as well. Not getting too many power plays out to the Owen Sound Attack. One point, it was 4-0 for the Steelheads on Saturday against the Owen Sound Attack as well. And, Owen Sound made that push, but then, Mississauga really quieted it down. And Ryerson Leanders, they really feed off of him, and he was really good on Saturday as well. But the discipline was good. Nice to see. And, a big congratulations as well to Jack Ivankovic, who won the gold medal guys for Team Canada White, player of the game as well. My goodness. So bring back a gold medal. Wow, unbelievable. This kid just continues to impress, that's for sure. But besides that, how's everybody doing, by the way? Forgot to ask. My goodness. Sorry, I got right back. We had Steelheads on our mind and we just got right back in. We got into it right away. So who wants to start? How's everybody's week going?
Yeah, we buried the lead. I think people only watch for us.
I know, right? Yeah, right.
No one cares about hockey. They just want to know how we're doing. So, guys, I was telling you today off air, I'm so tired. This is 2 days in a row now. You know me. You know I have, an incredible work. Not to toot my own horn. I have a good work ethic, right? Mind over matter, all that kind of stuff. The last 2 days, I just can't get in the zone, and I'm sleeping well too. It has nothing to do with that. Maybe it's just, it's mental fatigue, maybe something like that. It's just, I just can't get in the zone lately. Like even for this show right now, I'm cloudy, full disclosure. I'm just like,
Cloudy with rain?
What's that?
Cloudy with rain? Showers?
Yeah. I'm just not all the way there. But you guys, you know what? You guys are good. You get me in the mood. You guys make me laugh. You make me smile. You get me excited to talk about pucks. So I like that. But I'm just not all the way there the last couple of days. I think I just need, another reset and then, get back at it. So Brendan, sorry to rain on the parade and be the biggest downer on the show, but I'm just not all the way there. I don't know.
Yeah, hey, sometimes your workout regime is it's insane. So sometimes you need to take a little bit of a break there. That's okay. I
take a step back there, buddy.
Take a step back a little bit. Yeah, it's just but no, it happens, from time to time. And that always kind of happens for me too, where like I come into these and we usually record these podcasts pretty, not late, I guess, but like around 6, 7 o'clock at night. And I'm a little bit tired, but then once I get on, I start talking to you guys and everything just kind of comes back. So that's good. I actually got out and played another round of golf because it was so nice out yesterday. November 15th, getting to go outside and play golf. I couldn't believe that. Started around 3 o'clock, so we didn't get to finish the whole thing. It's only a 12-hole course, but got in about 9 holes, and it was amazing. Some 13 degrees, sunny. Can't believe that's happening in November. So no complaints from me over here.
Wow, very good. Sounds like you guys are doing pretty well. You got a good week. Yeah, everybody's doing, just as long as I'm going to say this again, as long as I wake up in the morning, it's a good day and I'm breathing. So that's all that matters to me. That's all I have to say about that. And I would say, and every day is Groundhog Day. So it was good. Week was good. And weather was awesome. Weather was fantastic, of course. Got outside a little bit. Not liking the treadmill. Let's just say that. I hate it. So, you can't stand it. Cannot stand it. I've been trying to get used to it. I have to try to get used to it. Obviously, with the cold weather coming up. Whatever. Anyway, so that's been my week.
How long do you walk?
Pretty boring, eh?
How long do you walk on the treadmill for? I know you were telling me when you go outside how long you do it, but what's the treadmill routine?
Hour and a half.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
hour and a half.
Boring.
Hour and a half.
Very good.
That's just boring.
Yeah, that would get really boring.
Right? You got your tunes and stuff, but it's not the same as you're walking outside, right? It is boring because you're walking outside, 100%. You're looking around and you see the same people every day and, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. But then you're walking and it's like, or you're on the treadmill. And then what are you looking at? You're looking at the time. I don't want to see the time, right? I can't stand that. So whatever. Hey, got to get used to it. That's the way she goes. And that life is fantastic, right?
Hey, that's right. And especially when you're walking outside and you're Mikey K, always something's happening too. So
not really. Not this time. Everything's pretty much the same now. It's always the same thing all the time. Same people. How you doing? Good morning. How's it going? Good morning. Whatever. Wave up, wave to this person, right? Drive around the trailer park, wave like Ray Trailer Park Boys, right? Anyway, so no, I don't live in a trailer park. That's Ray Trailer Park Boys. So just to let everybody know. All right, so lots of stuff going around the OHL, guys, and you know what? We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second, right? We'll take a quick break. We'll step aside, and you are listening or watching Trout Talk right here on News Talk Saga 960 AM. All right, welcome back to Trout Talk right here on News Talk Saga 960 AM, along with Zach Bonestein, Brendan Lang. My name is Mike Carafelitis, known as Mikey K because you can't say my last name, which is cool. And we got a lot to talk about. One guy that we want to talk about, we'll tee him up here, He's our next guest, and he is a second-year defenseman for the Mississauga Steelheads, already playing, in my opinion, like a veteran back there. And we'd like to welcome in Mr. Parker Von Richter, who's got his hand on his face right now with the Chicago White Sox hat. So, Parker, thanks for joining us. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. You guys?
Fantastic.
Pretty good.
Life is fantastic, right? As long as you wake up in the morning, that's all that matters. But anyway, Parker, let's talk about first. I mean, you're a C rating. You know, I mentioned this on the broadcast, and I tell you, this guy's got a future in broadcasting as well. But we mentioned this on the broadcast, so now we can tell everybody your C rating in the early 2023-2024 NHL Central Scouting List. How do you feel about that? Let's talk about that first.
Yeah, it's first off, it's an honor to get noticed by these teams and to be on that list to start. And I feel like being in the C rating is great, and it gives me something to build towards to try and work into that B rating as the season moves forward, right?
Yeah. Right. What do you think? What do you think you have to work on, Parker, to get to that B rating?
Right now, I feel like my overall game can keep improving. Like, I feel like in the D zone, I've been pretty well, and I can keep producing or helping like the forwards producing the offensive zone. But yeah, overall, just the game I feel has to develop in a whole and just keep getting to that next step slowly.
I kind of want to talk about that development here, but before I got to ask about the White Sox hat for people that are not watching right now. They're just listening on the radio. Parker's wearing a White Sox hat. Are you a fan there, or is it just the logo?
Yeah, I just like my hats. I have a lot of different teams. Just yeah.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah. So you didn't play in the last game, and Mikey was just kind of alluding that there, where you were in the press box. So kind of going off what Zach was asking, what you maybe need to work on. What kind of perspective can you get? Of course, you want to be out there every game, but watching from a different perspective and kind of seeing things not from ice level and kind of just taking it in. What can you kind of learn from that?
Yeah. First off, I thought the game in Owen Sound, like, boys played really well. I thought that was a good comeback game from the bit of the streak that we had been on. Coming back and playing that game for them was really good. So as you were saying, seeing it from a different perspective, I feel like when you see it from a different perspective, you realize how much time you have out there. Because when you're out there, the game's really quick and you feel like everything closes off really fast. And, the lanes aren't there for passes. Guys are on you really quickly. But when you're watching it from above, it gives you a perspective on how much time you actually have and really like what moves you can make. Because when you're watching, if say you're like in first person on the ice, you may not see one thing, but when you're up there watching, you may see a whole different play out, and you seeing that, you can take that and use that in the next games you play.
Parker, your shot to me has gotten a lot better this year, and your playmaking, your passing has gotten a lot better as well. But what did you really work on in the off season for improvement?
During the off season, my main focus was skating. That's always been one of my weaker assets, has been my skating. So throughout the summer, I really worked hard on trying to get that up to speed with everyone else. And doing that, I'd be doing, 3 different skating lessons each week, just trying to improve on my skating ability.
Figure skating?
Pardon?
Figure skating?
Actually, yeah, some of them are figure skating coaches. Yeah, they know their stuff. Yep.
Oh my gosh, I was just kidding around. Sorry, go ahead, buddy. That's actually kind of cool. All right.
Yeah, all of this skating work has helped me so far because I feel like I'm skating faster than I did last year.
Did Jeff Skinner not do figure skating? Do you guys remember that? There was a whole story about that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's a thing, man. So Parker, 2 things I noticed about you coming into this year, and I haven't got a chance to talk to you yet. Number 1, you got the braces off, so congratulations, brother.
Thank you.
And number 2, you've packed on some size, right? These are the years where you're going to want to grow as a young man. You're from Mississauga. Are you living at home right now?
I am living at home, yeah.
That is blessed. So you've got quite a lot of food at your disposal then. What's the meal plan like?
Okay, so I live with 2 of the other guys, right? Gabe Trout and Luke Dragusica. So my parents, they'll order like bulks of food. like a ton of food at a time, right? Just tons of Costco runs, getting it in the house because it goes quick. It goes really fast. So, each morning I'll wake up, I'll have a decent sized breakfast, and not like the other guys. I'll go to my local school, my local high school, while like the rest of the guys will go to Philip Pocock. That's like the team school, right? So I'll go to my local high school that I've been at for years. I'll go there from 8:30 to 11. Then I'll come home and I'll eat a bigger lunch after my smaller breakfast, and then I'll head to the rink after for practice. But then after all that, I usually come home and just feast for dinner. Yeah.
I feel like we do a lot of talking about food on this show, but if what's the pregame meal or just like a favorite meal that you have that when you're talking about that feast, that's your go-to?
I'll start with the pregame meals. We have a pregame meal like setup where it's my house and like another house in the neighborhood where a couple like Martone and McDonald live at. So our house and their house will like rotate pregame meals. So we'll go there for a pregame meal, and then we'll come here for a pregame meal. And that usually is chicken and rice or chicken and pasta. Just pretty simple, right? But in terms of feasting, I always love a good steak, but that's rarely the case when I come home because it's tough. Like it's tough for my parents to set up. So it's usually just like leftovers or more pasta, just easy stuff, right?
Nice. So chicken and pasta. You gotta love that. You gotta love
main dish in my life. Yeah.
There it is. Chicken and pasta, chicken and pasta, chicken and pasta. That's it. I could live on that. I could live off that for the rest of my life, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Parker. I don't want to hear that I have no superstitions. What is your superstition? What are your superstitions before a game? What do you do before a game? Let's talk about that first, because man, whatever you're doing, it's working. So tell the people.
Okay, I'll go step by step. I get to the rink. I put on my workout stuff, my workout gitch, and then I'll get a BioSteel and a Gator Light. And then I'll put the BioSteel in my stall. I'll drink the Gator Light first. We'll go do video, and then I'll go outside, tape my stick. And then from there, I'm always the guy to go get the ball for sewer upstairs. I'm always the guy to go get it, and then I'll be the first guy up there. And then we'll go upstairs, we'll play sewer, warm up and whatnot. And then after warm up, I always have to bring the ball back down too. And then on the way back down, I do this weird thing where I'll throw the ball off the same wall each time on the way down. So I'll throw it off one wall, then I'll turn around, throw off that wall. Just, it gets in a routine. You get used to it, right? And
it's like wall ball.
Yeah, pretty much. And then after that, I try to get dressed at the same time every time. So I'll start getting dressed at, say, on our clock, it'll say 36 minutes. I can start getting dressed then. And then I just get dressed, get ready for the game.
That's it? Nothing else?
No.
Nothing else.
Nope.
Nothing, you don't put a foot on the ice or anything, and one little skate, put a loony in the ice or something, something like that.
I've done it a couple times this year, but I try not to fall when I step on the ice.
Okay.
Because one of the guys, I'm usually like the third or fourth guy in order for warm up. So when they go and toss the pucks on, once in a while, I'll be running on the ice. I'll step on a puck, and it's like a little landmine, and it'll just blow up. So
nice. That's great.
When you're getting ready, I have two questions for you. Number one, why are you the one that goes to get the ball and bring it back? You're not a rookie anymore. Is that just something that kind of stuck from last year?
Last year, I don't know. Last year, the older guys would always be up there before anyone else, and they'd be playing really early. And this year, I don't know. I just got the ball the first game, and I just stuck with it.
Nice.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
And when you're getting dressed, I might judge you for this. Hockey pants first or shin pads first? Which one goes on first?
Shin pads first.
Good.
100%.
Who does it the other way?
Who does it the other way?
I've seen plenty. Of people put their hockey pants on first, and then they go shin pads, socks, and all that stuff. And I hate it. So I'm glad.
No comment. No comment. If I was there, if I would have seen that, I would have said something. Anyway, carry on, Parker. Sorry, buddy.
There's some guys that go skates first. No, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
What was that?
Going skates first. They go skates
first.
Skates
what is it? Who does that?
Who is it? It's either is it Licky or Degusa?
Interesting. All right.
Look your
Wow.
Dragusica. Okay.
Well, maybe that's their superstition.
I think I'm
Must be.
remembering that because Drags, he sits beside me. That's why.
Hmm.
And yeah,
I
Okay,
feel like
right
that would
on.
be difficult. I
Interesting.
feel like that'd be difficult to get the socks on over your skates.
Yeah.
Sounds like more
It's
work.
something.
Anyways, yeah, I guess
Right.
you just get used to it. We've talked a little bit to the other players about the coaching staff. So I wanted to ask you, being a defenseman now in your second year with the Steelheads, working with Matt Chirantano. So what's that been like, and how has he been for your development?
Maddie's been a great coach for me. He's always told the truth to me, even like in hard circumstances, which is what I like as a player. Because knowing the brutal, honest truth as a player is always the best. So that your coaches aren't like babying you or lying to you in any way. So he's been a really good coach for me with like development and all that. Because he'll go on the ice early with us. He'll stay on after with us if we want to work on stuff. He's always available to do video sessions with. He's always around, just like willing to help. So he's been really good for my development, and he's also just a great guy. I like him a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, he is. You know what? He's a great teacher too, right?
Yeah.
He's a great teacher. You could totally see that and whatnot. But let's talk about the defense core as well. We talked about it a little bit on Saturday night. I guess again, you could tell the audience about this. You're pretty much a veteran now, as far as I'm concerned. You can really look at that, right? On this team. So, how many guys come up to you and ask you for advice and whatnot about the OHL? Just tell us some of the guys what they'll ask you and whatnot. Some of the younger guys, like for example, Dragusica.
Mm-hmm. So it was more at the start of the season because I feel like now he's slowly like gotten with everything, right, and with the pace of the game and whatnot. But closer to the start of the season in training camp, JR would have us partnered up together because we've played with each other for years now, for like 6 or 7 years together, right? So he partnered us up, and then almost after every shift, Drags would have something to like ask or say about like what happened on the shift, and I'd gladly help him out because it's such a different game than minor hockey, right? So those first couple of weeks or month or so, it's just he was really vocal. And I was like there to help him with it. But yeah, in general, the rookies, for the first month or so, they ask questions, but after that, they usually get used to the pace and what's going on around the rink. So they don't have much to ask after that.
I asked Mason Zabeski last week. I'll ask you as well. Who was somebody that you were looking up to? You guys had Charlie Callahan, Casper Larson, Chaz Sharp. Who was the guy that you were going to in your first few weeks?
Last year was Callahan. Yeah. He was the overager, or like the overager on the back end for us last year at the start because Casper Larson was at AHL camps. Mm-hmm. So he was the guy that I leaned towards the most. And then even later on in the season when I got to be his D partner for the back half of the year, that was pretty cool.
And you had mentioned there talking about just how big of a difference it is from minor hockey to the OHL. I know you're in your second year now, but what kind of goes into that difference?
Well, it's just all speed and size, really. Like going from minor hockey to the OHL, it's a lot quicker, and the guys are a lot bigger. So even I remember my first couple games last year, like the amount of hits you take, it's nothing compared to minor hockey because the guys are so much bigger and quicker. You just don't expect it.
Do you remember that one pass, that lead pass? I got to ask you this. The lead pass in Saginaw when you sprung – who was it on the breakaway?
Angus.
Who did you spray? Yes, yeah. Angus on the breakaway. Tell me what you saw. I want to talk about that play because that, in my mind, was one of your best passes I've ever seen, Parker, in my opinion. So was he screaming at you? Hey, talk about that. Take me through that.
So what I was seeing on that play is the puck was on the wall, and I was just getting back so the guy could, pop it out to me. And originally I was thinking to go to the far wall, because I knew there was a winger over there. But then as I was doing my scan across the ice to go to the far wall for the winger, I saw Angus stretched. I was like, oh, might as well try, right? So I sent it for him, and it worked out.
Boy, your passing has gotten so much better, man, and your shot has gotten so much better. Your development has been top-notch in my opinion. And you know what? You're only 17, man. You're only 17 years old. And wait till you're 18, you're 19. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, this kid right here, he's a C rating right now. He's going to be an A rating in no time. Zach, go ahead. That's all I have to say about that.
We hope
Yeah.
so.
Oh,
We hope
yes.
so. It's funny you mentioned the age, because that was the age where I think a lot of guys, at that age, that's when they see the growth spurt, and that's when they see all the physical maturity. We've seen it with your buddy Finn Harding too, and we've seen it with so many guys coming through the OHL. Who's kind of been helping you find your way on the back end this year? Again, making those leaps. Is it a player? Is it a coach? Is it a combination of all that stuff, or is it just experience on your own?
Well, I feel like on the back end, we're a really tight-knit core. So everyone tends to help each other out. Like if you want to work on something after practice and say like the odd time that Matt, our D coach, won't be able to like stay on and help us out, we'll go to each other and, we'll do these drills together, like all 6 of us, sometimes 4, just a group of us, right? We'll all work on stuff together and like help each other out with things that we're struggling with in games. And in terms of like leading me, I feel like Matt has really been pushing me this year, as it is my draft year. So he's really been like on my back trying to push me until I like can get to that next level.
And talking about it being your draft year, we've had a few guys on the show that are in their draft year, and Mason and Ryerson Yakin was on the show as well. And we've kind of asked them about what the early process is like. So how has it been for you?
It's pretty cool so far. Again, it's just another year of hockey in my books, but there is that, low level of like stress in the back of your mind that you try not to worry about as you go into each game and like every day, right? You try not to think about it, but it is there. So, you just want to play your best. That's all. Just want to play your best hockey you can. And what happens, right?
All right, Parker, talk about the last games against Owen Sound and against Barrie. I thought the defense played really, really well on Friday night. Saturday, Leaders was really good too. But you guys are really coming together. I know you didn't play on Saturday night, but talk about Friday night first, and then talk about Saturday. And what can you see from this defense as well? Go halfway through the year. Can you see the defense core getting better and better and better? Talk about that.
Yeah, as you said, like throughout the year, I feel like we're going to keep maturing as a group and getting even closer together. And the closer we get, like as buddies, as like in the room, away from the ice, it's going to help with the on ice production. And I feel that we've like been, as you said, getting better and better as the season's gone on. And it's coming together pretty well right now. Like you said, in Owen Sound, they played a great game. And in Barrie, I thought we defensively had a really good game. It was just the penalties that killed us in the end.
There it is right there. The penalties and the discipline. The discipline was really good on Saturday night.
It was
a lot. I mean, a million times better, just to say. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Well, when you take 9 minors, you can only go up, right? Unless you take 10.
Can you imagine you guys had 12 the next game on Saturday? Oh my goodness. I think I would have taken a cab home. I don't think I would have gone on the bus after that.
Yeah, we would have heard about that one.
Yeah. Parker, how you feeling right now? I know you were nursing something a little bit minor. What can you tell us about the recovery? How was practice this week? How are you feeling going into this weekend?
This weekend, I'm not in the lineup this weekend because the coaches want me to, take a rest. As it was a minor injury, they don't want to, spring back and happen again. So I'm not going to be playing this weekend. But throughout the week, I went into the rink every day like normal. I'd hang out with the guys before practice, do the normal workouts or what I could for the workouts, right? And then I'd go in with Binna, our trainer, and I'd get some work done on the injury, work it. And after that, just lots of ice baths, sauna, more ice bath, just, trying to get better as quick as possible, heal it.
And I can't remember if there was anything last year, but is this kind of your first time going through that sort of injury recovery and kind of learning how that works?
Yeah, last year I only missed one game from injury last year. It was just one game against Ottawa at home for my wrist. But last year it wasn't anything like this year because last year it was like 2 days and I was back at it. But this year it's more challenging in terms of like the length of it and trying to stay, mentally positive as to like I don't know when I'm going to get back, hoping it's going to be soon, right? But you got to stay positive with it and, keep working to get better. But, that's all you can really do. So.
Yeah, that's all you can really do, right? You just got to get better and better and better. So talk about your minor hockey days. You said you played how many years? 8 years, you said, or 6 years with Dragusica, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah.
You guys are pretty much like brothers, right?
Yeah, we've actually gone on vacations together before too, like years ago. So we're really close. Yeah, we're really close together. But me and Drags, we played together so I was 7 and he was 6, and we were in this hockey academy called Ferroni Hockey Academy. And pretty much what it was just all like skill-based training. You'd practice skills, you'd practice skating. It was all there wasn't really many games except for like spring tournaments at the time. But otherwise you just focus on your like skills and skating and whatnot, right? And after that, then I joined a AA team while also doing that training. So I could use that training and like try and transfer it into a game like situation because we weren't playing many games. And there I was playing center at the time. And then a couple years after that happened, I was still doing the training, right? But I had to make the leap up to AAA because it was getting closer and closer to the draft. So making that leap, that's when I had to switch back to defense because that was the only open spot on the team. So I had to switch back to defense. But because of all the training I had done over the years on pretty much like everything, like backwards skating, skill-wise, all that stuff, I was able to make that transition, pretty seamlessly. And then from there, I played 3 or 4 years in AAA before the OHL draft.
Man, that is a crazy
unbelievable.
transition.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's a whole different part of the game. You're playing center, you've got obviously defensive responsibilities, but you got to learn new skills. You got to think the game differently, approach it differently, playing defense. And you only had a few years to do it, Parker, ahead of the OHL draft. So what were the challenges like for that?
Honestly, it was pretty challenging the first year, but it's that first year making the jump from AA to AAA was also, it switches quite a bit because the compete switches a lot from those 2 levels at that age, but that also made it tougher because the forwards were faster there, and being new defensively, I had to, get used to that. And that was a tough challenge at first, but I got used to it and worked out.
Yeah, I'd say it worked out pretty well. Last thing for me, it's not really a question, but I just want to say I remember last year when you first came onto the team, started playing, and I saw your name, Parker Von Richter, and I was like, this is the greatest hockey name ever. It fits perfectly in there. Just wanted to throw that out there. Parker Von Richter, I think that's up there for one of the best names in hockey. So congratulations to your parents for naming you that, and that's good stuff.
It's like they knew you were going to be a hockey
That's
player,
right?
right?
Exactly.
You know what we call you, right? We call you PVR. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just to let you know.
Yeah.
We started that, right? We started that. So if you hear anybody, visiting broadcasters saying PVR, you know where they got it from. Just saying. I just thought I'd throw that in.
Probably been around. There was JVR.
Yeah, I feel like
PVR. Now there's PVR.
No, there's only one PVR. There's only one PVR. But Parker, yeah, you're like I said, you're developed. But if there's one player in the OHL right now that you could say, oh, I hate playing against this guy, who would it be?
I gotta think about that.
Here it comes the thinking caps.
I can go off of last year, but this year we haven't played everyone yet, so it's tough to see who's like.
Okay, let's go back to last year then.
Last year, trying to think of the tougher teams we played because we played North Bay in a series. They were a good team, like a really good team at the time. One of the tougher guys to play against North Bay last year, not because of like the offensive skill, but he is skilled offensively, but it was Ertl. I don't know his first name, but Ertl, because he's massive and he just run guys, and that would be pretty. As a rookie defenseman, that's kind of like,
Yeah. They had a big team last year. They had a big team last year, right? So, and you guys have gotten a lot bigger. So now you guys aren't intimidated by them, right? Nope, no more. That's the way I look at it. All right, Parker, I want to thank you so much for joining us here today on Trout Talk. Zach and Brendan, any last words for Parker before we send him on his way?
I don't think
Keep
so.
it up, man. You have the right.
Thanks.
I was gonna say you have the right attitude. You're staying positive through some of the lows. You're trying to live in the moment while you go through this draft process. So my advice to you as somebody 10 years older is just, keep that mindset, keep that work ethic. And I think, things are going to come for you. The three of us are here for you through this whole process too. And
Oh, yes.
we're rooting you on for sure.
Yeah,
That's right.
Thank you.
keep it going, man.
All right. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, that was Parker Von Richter, defenseman for the Mississauga Steelheads, 2023-2024. The new NHL Central Scouting list came out, and Parker Von Richter is a C rating. Parker, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was a Parker Von Richter, defenseman of the Mississauga Steelheads. We'll take a quick break here on News Talk Saga 960 AM. More of Trout Talk to come after the break. All right, welcome back to Trout Talk here on News Talk Saga 960 AM. Along with my colleagues, my compadres, my amigos, Brendan Lang, Zach Bodenstein. My name is Mike Carafalitis, Mikey K, because you can't say my last name. Guys, that was Parker Von Richter, well-spoken young man. He talked about his development, talked about other things as well. You could definitely see, and I'm going to keep saying this, how he's a C rating right now, and he's going to move up, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like we're already seeing those strides. And I think that I like that he mentioned there that working on different things in the off season, his skating, maybe he wants to get that a little bit better. But I just think, and I feel like something that has been a common theme for especially the defensemen that have gone into their second season, another guy like Finn Harding, is the decision-making is so much quicker. Even Stevie Leskovar, somebody who, yes, he's gotten quicker foot speed as well, but just, it seems like the decision-making is so much more crisp. When they have the puck on their stick, they know exactly what they want that next move to be. They move better without the puck to get in good spots. So I feel like that's been a common theme for all of these guys, and especially him. And again, when you get that, and it's only going to improve. Yes, it's quick now. It's going to get even better and better as he improves. So getting that C rating up, I agree with you, Mikey. I think it's going to be higher in the in the reports to come.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I just can't get over him not being a natural defenseman.
I know.
He has to learn. It's different. I played both. I played center, I played wing, and I played D. It's so much different with the gap control, the decision-making in your own end, being a bit more physical in a different sense because you're not on the forecheck. You're kind of absorbing checks like he was talking about. Like, it's a totally different game. But, the heads-up play in Saginaw when he sprung Angus on the breakaway, doesn't make. He's been doing it for a long time, and he hasn't. And I found that super interesting. I almost didn't believe him, Mikey, because I was like, are you just what are you saying here? I mean, you look so good and natural doing it. It's crazy. Just a number of years ago.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Like, he's a centerpiece back there on that defense, and one of 7, 8 Steelheads that are on the Central Scouting list right now. That's unbelievable. But yeah, he's a centerpiece back there on that defense, and that defense is just getting better each game, in my opinion. So they need Parker in the lineup, though, right? They need Parker in the lineup, and a healthy Parker. So, as he said, he said in the podcast or, in our show that he's going to be out, he's not going to be here in this weekend. The games will be done by the time this is aired, but against Kingston and Ottawa. So, that's okay, though, just as long as he gets better, and that's all that matters for health-wise. All right, let's move on. Plus, Parker Von Richter, we wish him all the best. We love him so much, and we wish him all the best. We always wish him all the best. We're going to see him a lot this year. All right, so let's move on, guys. Some trades in the OHL. My goodness, lots of trades. And where do I start? All right, so the Kingston Frontenacs deal. Let's start with this one first. All right, so the Kingston Frontenacs deal Owen Outwater to the Windsor Spitfires for a Flint 4th, the 2025, Guelph 3rd, 2026, Windsor 3rd, and 2027. Thoughts?
Well, they got somebody else, didn't they? It was like I always look at these trades and I see, like, how does the final piece come in? Did they not acquire somebody else on top of that?
No, sir.
Nope.
Let me check.
Well, that is the only player.
Well, there's different trades. So they also got Christopoulos.
Windsor got Windsor.
Mancini and Chuk.
No, Kingston got McNamara also.
Oh, we're going there. Okay.
Yeah.
So
you're going down.
They traded. I see. I look at how it fits in the puzzle. So they traded away Outwater, but they got McNamara, and for similar picks too, a 3, 3, and a 4. They essentially, it's hilarious. Picks. They just swapped.
So it's pretty much swap players.
Yeah, they swapped out Owen Outwater for Luke McNamara. So I think we have to talk about both of them. It comes down to, who's better, who's a better fit. I mean, they're just kind of tinkering with their roster here, and if they see it as a better fit, then I'm all for that for them. And it's a team that's better than they were last year. So let's see what Kingston can do.
Yeah,
well,
I
Kingston
think that
be one of those. Sorry, Brennan.
I just kind of quickly, I think that's exactly the point that this trade kind of makes. Like, you look at it on paper and you're like, okay, like, I don't know kind of how these pieces fit, but also, of course, we're not around Kingston all the time, so we don't know exactly what the fit is like. But I feel like that's a good point, Zach, where maybe it's not just the skill of the player. Is he a better goal scorer? Is whatever. Just they think that this guy fits better in the team. And sometimes teams just have those kind of players that they see from other organizations and are like, I just think that this guy would fit perfectly in the system, in the organization that we have. So I think that that's kind of what they're doing. And like you said, just kind of tinkering with the roster there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing that pops into my head. Is Kingston going to be the team in the East that goes for it? Because they did acquire Jakob Kromiak as well from the Sudbury Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
Now they acquired Luke McNamara, all sorts of experience. Do they have enough? I don't know. I can't judge it right now, but it just seems like they're making moves like crazy here. So it's early. All right, so let's move on from that deal. Saginaw. Oh no, they're not done. Saginaw. So let's keep it pretty straightforward here. Roberto Mancini, Valentin Jugend, to Windsor. Oh, and 1, 2, 3 draft picks, a second, and a fourth. Peterborough Sioux and an Ottawa draft pick, 4th round pick for Alex Christopoulos, who we know who could score goals, and Rodwin Dionizio. Guys, thoughts on that trade? For who wants to go first on this one?
Yeah, it's a big one, but this is, again, not only is Saginaw a really good team, and we've seen that firsthand twice this year. I know Mississauga split the season series with them, but Saginaw brought it every game. And last year we were calling them Steelheads West, right? A young team that had a good system, everybody contributing, really good shot differential, all that kind of stuff, good goaltending. But when you have the Mem Cup and you know you're going to be in the Mem Cup, it's a showcase for junior hockey. Every team does this. They're going to go for it. Christopoulos is a hell of a goal scorer. Dionizio, draft pick in the NHL. Solid two-way threat. Anytime you can get offense from the defense, that's a bonus. And I mean, they've already got Zane Parekh, but they give away Mancini. So are you sacrificing a little bit of defense for offense there? I mean, they're a flashy team. They're an effective team. I think it makes them better, no doubt. But, it's just about plugging guys in and out. We'll see how they adjust. But they're going for it. They're hosting the Mem Cup, and they have to.
Right. And I agree with you in the sense of saying that it makes them better on paper here moving forward. But you just talked about, too, losing Mancini. So is that kind of a sense or like a clue of what they're going to do, and they're just going to try to maybe load up on offense and not worry as much on the defensive side? Like, who knows how that moves forward, but that type of move seems to kind of signal that would be something that they would be moving. Of course, they have Parekh back there on the back end. He's good defensively. He's also great offensively. So wonder if that's kind of the way that they're looking at it. And again, the team's always going to go for it. So I wouldn't expect that that's the last move either. Like, there's going to be a lot of other stuff coming down the pike for them.
100%. This is it. We know they're going to score goals. We know they're going to score goals with all these players that they're acquiring and whatnot. But this is it for Saginaw. If they don't get it this year, it's time for a rebuild. That's what it looks like here with all these players that they're acquiring and whatnot, except Michael Nisa, right? I mean, they acquired Ethan Hay. Wow, yeah. So this is the year for Saginaw, but I don't think they're done yet. I think they're going to acquire probably a more stay-at-home defenseman. They do have Braden Hache back there, but I think they need another guy back there. So that's an interesting deal. Who do you think won that deal, guys?
I think it makes sense, Brendan, just because, you have – I think it's an ideal trade partner. Is Windsor going to take a little bit of a step back after going all in last year? And, I mean, we know what happened in the playoffs last year. I mean, that was a team that had sky-high expectations and fell out in the first round. And were they swept? They were swept. Were they not? So, that was a tough end to the Windsor season. They're going to try and reload a little bit and get a little bit younger, trade away some other guys who might not be around next year, Brendan. So that's the way I see it. Just ideal trade partners, a team that might want to take a step back and a team that's going for it.
Right. And when those types of deals are made when you're looking towards the future, I just think it's really difficult to grade it out right when it happens, because you don't really know exactly who wins the trade and who loses the trade until a couple of years down the line, when you see exactly what the draft picks turn out to be, how the players turn out to be. So it's tough to say. As of right now, I think Saginaw probably wins the deal, but you have no clue what happens moving on in the future.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
It's like when you're drafting somebody and whatnot, you don't know how he's going to be, right?
yeah,
Kind of thing.
exactly.
Like you're piggyback what you're saying, Brendan, and yeah. So we don't know who's going to win that deal right now, but it does look good on paper for both teams, really. So I think it's a win-win situation right now, but we'll see what happens. Yeah. So those are the two big deals. I mean, Thomas Hamara went to Brantford as well. Okay, Brantford gets their defenseman. All right. So besides that, let's move on to our life tips. Oh my goodness. Look who has his hand up in the air.
Well,
Brandon Lang. Oh, okay. It must be
I'm
something big
saying
over here.
no. I'm saying one
Something
thing
about
before
the
we get
golf
on.
club, or-
No.
Oh.
Before we get on to the life tips, I wanted to say one thing that we talked about a little bit before, but we didn't put in. Zach Lavoie being named the captain of the Niagara Ice Dogs. I wanted to throw that in there as well.
Right.
Former
Yeah.
Steelhead
Congratulations
guy.
to Zach. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Good
wanted to
kid.
mention that too.
He's a good kid.
Yeah.
He is.
Good kid.
He is.
He's one of the, still to this day, one of the only guys in junior hockey, the OHL, who will come up to me and greet me, give me a fist bump, say, "How are you? How's everything?"
Yeah.
I think, at that age, that's something that I really look at. I'm like, okay, this is a mature kid. Obviously, it didn't work out in Mississauga, but I'm happy to see him wear the C for Niagara, wishing him all the best, and still hoping an NHL team picks him up. I know Ottawa gave him a twirl in the rookie camp. So, wishing the best for Zach Lavoie.
That's a big thing. And if Zach Lavoie if he doesn't make the NHL, he's going to get a pro contract, in my opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Might be in Europe, might be somewhere, the East Coast Hockey League, maybe the American Hockey League. But I think he's going to get his chance in the NHL. So congratulations to Zach Lavoie. We all love you, buddy. And buddy, we all love you, Zach. I got to stop this buddy stuff, you guys. But we all love you, Zach, and we wish you all the best. All right, so let's move on to our life tips, guys. I thought Brendan had his hand up there. I thought he was going to talk about something with golfing or something. So, Zach, any life tips about staying awake? I mean, I don't know. You said you're feeling pretty drowsy.
I was passed out by 10 p.m. last night. So, nothing for me. Just pace yourself.
Right. That's what I was going to say. I know I got to wrap here in like 30 seconds, but like we were talking about earlier, if you need a break, if your body needs a break, if your mind needs a break, sometimes you got to take that break. I think that's
it's just so hard to get yourself. I know it's for the greater good. It's just so hard to stop once you love it.
I know.
It's so much easier said than done, but it's so necessary.
All right, so there's your life tip. Take a step back. If you're working out every day, 500 hours a day, make it about 100 hours a day. So, I mean, if you're working out 12 hours a day, take a step back and work 2 hours a day. Whatever, workout. All right, guys. Any last words, before we wrap it up here? Steelheads this weekend. Well, whatever the games will be done. Big games against Kingston and Ottawa. I guess we'll wrap it up with that.
Yeah, those are going to be big ones. Always a tough road trip. Like we said, Kingston's going all in, or at least their version of all in right now. They're loading up. And Ottawa, I mean, they're good. They're obviously one of the better teams in the league. They're not what they were last year, but it's still a tough one. Still tough to play in that rink with the corner boards. And
the square corners. Yeah.
No, it'll be a good road trip, and no PVR. That's a challenge on the back end, but let's see how the boys prevail here, because it is a big test. And like I said, Ottawa's not what they were last year, but neither is Kingston. So it's going to be, two tough games.
Yeah, 2 tough games, and we'll see how Mississauga kind of responds getting off the bus with those bus legs early on in Kingston, and then also getting on that road trip too. They get to get a little more team bonding in there when they had that Michigan road trip as well. So I'm sure they're looking forward to that, and should be a couple of good games.
Yep. Yeah, it should be good. And, both, I think the bus leg, I think they're going to be just fine with the bus legs, right? So these young guys. So that's going to do it for another episode of Trout Talk. So for Brendan Lang and Zach Bodestein, I'm Mike Karafalidis, because you can't say my last name, otherwise known as Mikey K. And good night, everybody, or good afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your day.